We've got tech expert Graham Williams here to explain why we care about this. Because a lot of Canadians are watching this wondering, well, how does this affect me? Why do we care?
Well, essentially, when it comes to the regulation of the internet, as the Americans go, so goes the world. Here in Canada, we've seen that we've actually been following in their footsteps for a number of years. We've seen the reduction of unlimited packages and the reduction of speeds for increasing costs. And essentially, we started to follow in their model where there was the idea that the possibility of we would be paying additional money for services like Netflix. We've seen Bell most recently offer Crave TV, which if you're not a Bell subscriber, you don't have access to.
Right, and this is an important distinction, right? Because as it stands right now, I mean, whether I subscribe to Shaw or TELUS or any other provider, I do pay different amounts of money depending on how fast I want my internet to be. That's sort of the status quo right now.
That's the status quo right now. What essentially they were looking to do was to charge companies like Netflix to have better access to subscribers. So Netflix wants you to have a great experience. So essentially the internet service provider would say to them, you need to pay me X amount of dollars per month so that your internet service customers will get nice, fast service. They can then turn around to the customer and say, incidentally, if you want to access Netflix at a nice, fast speed, you're going to have to pay me $5 per month as well, or however many dollars per month. So essentially they're triple dipping. You're paying for your service every month. They're charging Netflix to give you better service, and they're charging you to get better service from Netflix.
And I suppose it's that point where you're paying different amounts of money depending on what you're actually planning on downloading or what service you're planning on using online. That is sort of the real turning point here.
That's the crux of the matter here. Essentially, the idea of monetizing the service to that degree seems very consumer hostile. So essentially what the Americans have said is we want to take a look at this, and they were asking the question, is the internet a utility? Is it like your water service? Is it like electricity? Should it be regulated like telecom, like the telephones and the TV industry? And the answer that came back today was yes, it is, and it will be.
But that was the decision, and that was the answer in the United States. I mean, when you look at Canada itself, aren't we already sort of a few steps ahead of the game? I mean, in terms of net neutrality, isn't Canada, compared to the States, more or less net neutral?
We are net neutral right now. There have been some efforts to change that. The idea that we would go back and allow companies to be able to charge these additional fees has been floated before. Essentially, had this gone the other way, we would have seen that model here in Canada. I think now that the precedent has been set, that Title II has been assigned to internet service providers in the U.S., I think we won't see that model come to here in Canada.